Tap in with me. Is your mic used for spoken word, music, comedy, or podcasts? Why don't you take a seat on my couch and share your craft? Focus on the future. Reminisce about the past. This segment pinpoints your journey to the top. So make your presence felt before the mic drops. Tap in with me. This is the Mic Drop with B. Anderson, and we are back again with a special guest, a fashionista, a talented and dope artist, and I'm gonna turn it over to her and let her introduce herself.
Hi, I'm Laura Wize. I am a writer. I am a stylist, a content creator, just an all-around, local Cincinnati creative.
I love it. So let's jump right into it. How did you get the name Oh Wise One?
Performing at poetry, sometimes one of my friends would kind of like say, "Oh, Wise One," because my last name is Wise. So I would just kind of say something insightful, and they would say, "Oh, Wise One," and I liked it.
It just kind of stuck.
Yeah, it did.
Okay. With you being all about empowering and inspiring women, how do you use your creative talent to do that?
I do it in a multitude of ways, but most of them are all very authentic to any art form that I provide. So whether that be like providing style advice on my blog or wiseone.com, because I just feel like the empowerment of women is, I think we've always been seen through the lens of how to make yourself more attractive to appeal to men. But most of the things that you're doing to make yourself feel good, whether it be self-care, whether it be the presentation of yourself, it's really about you and less about others. So, I feel like when we tap into our power as women, we become the most ambitious and glorious versions of ourselves. But when I'm writing, whether that be poetry or anything like that, I think it's important to instill values in women that, make them feel good about themselves.
What made you start a blog? Because I've joked with you about your closet looking like a small department store. So, what was it that made you say, okay, I want to start this blog? I want to, kind of showcase what it is? Because you really do. You dress real sophisticated to me. So it's not, you from Cincinnati, but you don't dress like a lot of women I see walking around in Cincinnati. So, where did that come from?
I think it came from like my mom being a seamstress and being very interested in fashion. And then, just my own personal interest. I think I always wanted to dress like movies and music videos and stuff like that. So, but I grew up around a lot of sophisticated, boss women. And then my mom had friends who could sew. So I was always, I was from a young age, I was always getting something custom made. And I always had an opinion about what I was going to wear or, how something fit. And then, my mom was kind of like the Black Joan Rivers. She would always tell you, like, that's not it. That's not it. That don't look good. So, I think in the background, it could seem like it's something frivolous just because, you like to get dressed, you like to feel good. But it really does, like, change your mood. It also helps people address you a certain way, even though I feel like, we should be beyond that. But it still actually affects how people see you or how things are perceived. And then from an art form standpoint, I think, you got to get into character. You got to get into your role. And, we watch movies and we look at people, how they're dressed in that movie, and then you could see that same actor out on the street and not get that same vibe from them because what they were wearing was a part of the character. I think even shows like Harlem or Run the World or Sex and the City, all of those characters made you feel a certain kind of way because of the presentation. So the presentation is really about, you know, how you present yourself. And I think in any art form, it's really important to be in control of your narrative even before you start talking.
I love that. You've been writing since the age of 16.
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, what inspired you to want to put your thoughts down on paper in a poetic form?
I don't really know. I don't know. I've always kind of had something to say. And I think, you know, when you're writing, no one can interrupt you. You know, like you could be saying something to someone and they'll like stop you, like stop right there. You know, you can even just not have a mutual agreement for authenticity. So if you don't have that prevents conversation from going back and forth. And when I'm writing, I really get the opportunity to express myself in a free place of someone, you know, without someone else's feelings. I can process my own feelings, my own thoughts without having to consider the other person. It's really selfish.
And it's funny too, because like I remember, you know, being back in 10th, 11th grade, that was around the time where I really got into writing and things of that sort. But, you know, even before I really got into the poetry aspect of it, it was really so much, as much as journaling and, you know, kind of just getting my thoughts out that way. And then once I kind of discovered that, oh man, you know, I can kind of write a little poetry, it kind of transitioned into me putting my thoughts into a poetic way. And so, yeah, I think that anyone who is a poet, a writer, an artist, anything, a lot of it comes from just, you know, getting those thoughts and feelings out there and being able to, you know, have your own voice heard in the form of paper.
I think that's true because, but then again, I also read a lot. You know, I read a lot in general. So just reading other poets like Sylvia Plath and Maya Angelou and Langston Hughes and but I find poetry in different things that are not traditional. Because I think, you know, books like books by Iceberg Slim and Donald Goins, you know, the way those characters interact and talk to each other, it sounds like poetry to me. I love street poetry, so I love, you know, just the sound of guys on the block talking to each other, talks amongst themselves. It's a real rhythm to that, and I like how it sounds. So, you know, just reading, being influenced by hip hop, being influenced by so many different things. It gave everything purpose when I could write for myself.
Well, speaking of poetry, would you like to recite a piece for us?
Sure. This piece is called Learn to Cook. Young, unmarried, with child, my mother and aunts urged me to learn to cook, filled me with scripture, said that it was better to marry than to burn. Ain't no man gonna marry no woman who can't cook. So at 18, I subscribed to Women's Day and Family Circle, not Cosmopolitan. But no matter the rate that I increased my culinary skill, my articles went unread. My domestic domicile resided in the wrong jurisdiction because 20-year-old men don't care what you cook like. Certain that my Susie homemaker abilities would replace the father that my baby didn't have, I strengthened my game. By 20, I had graduated past soul food and got gourmet, flipped my cheap pots and pans and hustled up Williams-Sonoma cookware, set the table for a formal occasion. I made my own fresh floor arrangements, so when brothers bought me dying roses from the flower man at the club, I was less than impressed. I was seasoned with more than spice. I was pretty in the face and sweet to the taste. I had cultured my conversation to span past the typical, how was your day, baby? Expensive and high grade. The cheese, she stood alone at family functions, in the back pew of church, the well-dressed couple, the father's dark hue, the mother's buttercup complexion, and a milky baby cooing at me. It set my heart to flame. By 22, I could flambe, but one seat at my dinner table still remained vacant, still unmarried. These cooking classes, they ain't accredited. I can't put them on my resume. And I am constantly told to reserve my expertise, but I studied hard for matrimony. So now I feel overqualified and underemployed. And I done dated more excuses than solutions, more sickness than remedy. You see, patience is my missing virtue, but it does not deter me from being available for my missing link. So the question is not, can I cook? But, King, are you worthy of serving?
I know everybody that's listening to that is snapping right about now. Y'all better be. I'm telling you, you better be.
You don't have to be.
It's so much to unpack there. And what I find the most interesting about that is it would take the whole rest of the show to unpack that. I mean, it was so deep, and I love the delivery that you have with that piece as well. I love it. And that's really what made me a fan of, your work, is because the first time that I got to hear you last September, you're doing a piece. It was really, we were at the book fair, and I'm, vending at my table and everything, but it was your delivery that made me stop and say, hold on, let me hear what she's saying. So, always been a big fan. I look forward to more that is coming from you. I would love to switch gears a little bit and talk about some of the projects that you've co-written, co-produced, co-starred in. You kind of got a laundry list of them. Which one do you feel is your favorite? Which one do you feel may have impacted you the most, or had the greatest effect on you?
They all had different effects on me. I feel like projects are like babies. I feel like there's this stage where like you're glowing and the baby's growing and you're so fascinated by it, and then eventually got to give birth and everybody coos and ahs over the baby, and then almost like you get a little postpartum depression after it's over. So I think every project brought its own unique set of challenges, own unique set of rewards. I feel like, there are different projects that had different meanings. So I really can't pick a favorite. It's just, there was a lot going on for all of the projects that I co-wrote on. I can say my favorite writing partners are my co-members of Pen Pan Strong. Those are probably my favorite people to write with, just because it's so organic and so natural. And
shout them out.
Oh yeah, shout out to Doo-Wop, shout out to Samantha She Speaks, shout out to Statuess, aka Michaela. Those are my girls. We don't write as much as we used to anymore, but that was probably my favorite instance of being able to write with people. But I've collaborated with, lots of people. Even me and Kim independently did a project together called Fan and Flames. Kim is also, she's already a part of that nucleus, but it's also very easy for us to write together as well. I think collaboration is an act of trust. At least for me it is. Collaboration is an act of trust. It means that I can pass something off to you, and I have complete trust in you that you're gonna get that shot in the net. Like, if I had to feel like I had to micromanage it, or I was gonna throw that energy out there and it wasn't gonna come back with the same level of professionalism, I wouldn't be able to do it. So anybody that I have collaborated with or co-wrote with was somebody who I trusted implicitly. You know what I mean? So I think that's a really big part of being able to write and collaborate on different projects, is the vibe was right. It was organic. It wasn't forced. Everything happened in its own natural timing.
And I know as far as Kim goes, is like to be able to work with and create masterpieces with your best friend, that definitely has to, be refreshing, because everybody and their best friend aren't on the same accord when it comes to creativity and things of that sort. And you both bring your own set of talents and gifts to the table. So, it always makes for great content.
It does.
Speaking of collaborating for great content, we definitely got to talk about them Wize girls.
Yes.
Yeah. The podcast that you got with your sister.
Yeah, it's coming back in June, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've been on hiatus. It was a lot going on between her getting married and just life. But we're bringing it back in June, and we're really excited about it.
Okay, because yeah, me and Kim had a conversation, and I was gonna be asking you where did it go, like, because I just was able to tap in with them wise girls, and I was listening, and the one that I was listening to, I think it was called "He's Not Coming Back" or something like that.
God, he's never coming.
He's
back.
never coming
Yes.
back. Yeah. It was fire. So talk a little bit about. Why did you and your sister decide to create this podcast? Who is it geared towards?
It's geared towards women, honestly. Just anybody. Really, I feel like podcasts are in general they're just conversations. So they're really geared to whoever wants to tap into the conversation. I think we do talk about a lot of issues that affect women in general, or Black women, or just kind of like, everyday women with real dating problems, real life. I think social media and television kind of make you feel like life is like this really like super unattainable, glamorous thing. But I think the real struggle is just trying to be comfortable in your own skin, be comfortable with the life that you're living, and just kind of like talk about the questions so that an answer can be revealed. And that's a lot of what Them Wise Girls was about. We talked about just social constructs, like He's Never Coming Back was just a fun conversation between me and my sister that we always had about songs where, it would be like, he'll miss me when I'm gone. And it'd be like, nah, girl, he ain't gonna miss you when you're gone. He's gonna move on and get a new girlfriend, and you should find some level of closure that doesn't include your former partner. But we always put a fun spin on stuff. So I think that's probably the most unique thing about us is the fun spin we put on everyday realities.
I think listening to He's Never Coming Back, it definitely opened up a conversation, because after listening to it, I went and asked a couple of the guys, that I talked to and everything, like, do you think this is true? And we actually, I know it's geared towards women, but we actually had a conversation, like, because, men, we're gonna, I can't lie, we're gonna say one thing, but when we really get to the meat of it and really sit down and have a conversation, it's like, is it true what they're saying? And then when you kind of break it down, it's like, it's kind of true. So
I mean, it was road tested. It was road tested. I think I think a lot of women get held up in spaces where they really try to figure out what they did wrong or what went wrong, and I think just kind of letting go of that concept, because it's all in songs, it's all in music, it's all like a construct of thinking like, well, this person will be sorry that they left you, but they may not ever be sorry. It might have been a part of their journey, and it's also a part of your own journey that those things didn't work out. So it's really about a level of acceptance. But if you start off a podcast talking about, we want to talk about acceptance, it's not fun. But if you say, yo girl, he ain't never coming back, it's a lot more fun. It sparks a lot more conversation like that.
Definitely seeing that title, I'm like, let me see what they're talking about. Like, let's see if this is true or not. Like, but no, it was, like I said, great content. You say it's coming back in June?
Yes.
What season?
This will be our third season.
Third season. Hey, so y'all make sure y'all tap in with Them Wise Girls. How can they get that?
They can find it wherever podcasts are listened to. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud.
Okay. Well, y'all definitely be on the lookout for that coming in June. I'm sure it's gonna be promoted like crazy. So y'all be on the lookout for that. How do you feel like you contribute to Bold Creative Solutions? Because me and Kim talked a couple weeks ago about why you guys started that and everything like that. But what do you feel like, as far as your expertise, what do you bring to the table with Bold Creative Solutions, and how do you use it to impact other artists?
I never think about what I individually bring. That was a good question. Individually, I think marketing solutions, because I feel like you got to spark the ideas and the inspiration. And I think just really putting artists in a position to really think about how they want to present themselves And that's not just on a fashion level, that's probably more so on a branding level overall. I think it can get really easy to get caught up and intimidated and overwhelmed with, how you will present yourself. But it's really kind of like finite. It's really like, look, I'm attracting these people. These people are interested in this. And this is how I can interact and have conversation with these individuals. And I think once you get that figured out, everything becomes so much more simplistic and, just kind of like figuring out the time management and scheduling of everything. It really does help. So that's probably most of what I bring to Bold Creative Solutions.
I definitely feel like, you all are doing a great thing. And I know Kim told me that you currently aren't managing any artists, but is that something that you plan to dive back into in the future?
I'm so much about sustainability and things happening organically. I think it takes a lot of energy to manage an individual artist. So it's got to be the right artist. It's got to be somebody who has the drive, the willingness to invest in themselves. The last artist that we managed, who I love so much, Coco Flow, that was like a sisterhood, and we all understood the assignment. So I don't think I would feel like we were truly invested in managing an individual unless it felt like the right thing to do, like the right moment, the right person, the right artist. Like if it naturally came together, I would say yes. I don't like to ever say never. I try to retire, people won't let me. But I think what we really want to get more so focused on, though, is probably a lot more event management. I feel like that's probably one of our stronger suits of Bold Creative Solutions. Because people do want to have, especially now that we're getting back together in the fold and people are interacting in person again. But even in virtual spaces, I think we are very, very good at that. So I feel like those are the attributes that we probably have best to offer. Just because if we do work with an artist, I like working with them for like a limited time span or maybe for an individual project to kind of help them get that out there. And then once it's over, they can choose to continue to work with us or say, you know what, y'all taught me so much, I got it from here.
Okay, yeah. And speaking of Coco Flow, I'll get to meet her this week.
You will. She's phenomenal.
Yeah, so, that's pretty dope. Well, before we get into the miscellaneous questions, there is no way we can't talk about the fact that you are a soon-to-be author.
Yes.
Why don't you talk about your new project that you have coming?
My new project is for the misunderstood and constantly underestimated. And that would be, it's really for Black women. It's a space where we really get to discover how we've been judged and how we are judging others. So I think it's going to be a super fun, super definitive, super spicy and racy project. I'm really excited about it. I really haven't done anything solo dolo in a while, so it's really fun to get to work on this project and kind of do what I want to do because I want to do it without having to like talk to. I mean, I am talking to others about it, but it's very like centric of like, okay, so this is what I was thinking. Tell me if it's whack or not. But yeah, this project is really going to draw a definitive line in the sand for me as an artist, period. I think that it's really going to grab people's attention and you're either going to love it or you're going to hate it. But it's going to be a safe space for Black women to kind of feel how they feel and even ask themselves questions about, how they've perceived others and how they perceive themselves. So I think it's going to be really dope.
Do you think for a man who may want to tap in with you and read this, he may get a better understanding about Black women with reading your book?
Absolutely. I think really I'm going to do this for who I'm doing it for, and whoever else comes along, know that you are in a foreign space, know that this is our space and you can come in, don't disturb it.
Yeah.
But anybody who wants to come in can come in. So it's not a closed access.
Okay.
I think, the writing is super relevant to our time. I think all the other artistic aspects of it are going to be super appealing. So I think, if you want to come on this ride, come on it. But just know, if it wasn't for you, just enjoy the space. Just come to the concert, like it, go home, find you your own space. But this space specifically will be for Black women by a Black woman.
Hey, disclaimer given. When is this project dropping?
The official release is going to be September 25th. But I'm going to be releasing like my book cover and my book title in May during my birthday week, which I call International Laura Wize Week. So it'll be the last week of May that I'll release my book cover and title.
Y'all be on the lookout. Y'all be on the lookout for that book cover and that title. You don't want to miss it. Now, it's time for us to jump into those miscellaneous questions. Yes. So, I would like to know, what is Laura Wize watching on TV these days?
A little bit of everything. Super random.
What's your favorite show?
I don't know what my favorite show is. I have shows I watch a lot. Like I watch The Nanny a lot. I like Fran Drescher's style on that show. What else do I watch a lot? I watch things for the clothes, so I'm really like a movie head. I watch the Thomas Crown Affair a lot. Rene Russo's wardrobe, and that was like top tier, best I've ever seen. What did I just rewatched Run the World. I really liked it, and I think this is probably like my third time watching that season. I like the clothes, I like the music, I like one of the characters. I find he's very, very handsome. So yeah, I think the last thing I just binged was Run the World.
Oh, okay. Well, very interesting. Very interesting. I always like to, know. And of course, you're watching it for the clothes.
All the time.
So, next question. What would you say are 3 principles that you live by?
Oh, that was deep. You should have sent me that one ahead of time.
I had to put you on the spot.
Hey. What are my 3 principles that I live by? I guess one is to really, truly get to authentically be myself. Because if I can't be myself, I don't want to come. Like, I just don't want to come. 2 is just, loving my community and the people that are around me. I think it's very important to me. Like, I love being in spaces where I can be artistic and presenting myself to the world. But if I have to come home and like my life is a mess, I just ain't happy. And then, my last one is to keep it racy.
Yeah, I heard you.
Keep it racy.
You heard me
too. Keep it fun.
Hey, and if they want to hear you keep it racy, where will they find you next?
Next, I'm going to be, I'll probably perform something on Wednesday when Coco's in town, because that's an open mic. I'll be at Cincinnati Poetry Slam, Doo-Wop's Cincinnati Poetry Slam, mid-May.
May 14th.
May 14th, at Artsville. I won't be on stage, but I'm always helping as far as like production crew and things of that nature. They can always find me on social media at OHWIZE1, OHWIZEONE, on Facebook and on Instagram. And I'm always posting about where I'll be. But definitely follow me on social media so that you can get more details about my upcoming project.
Drop your websites one more time.
OHWIZE1.com. OHWIZE1.com, boldcreativesolutions.com.
Right. And then YouTube.
Oh, my YouTube should be OHWIZE1 too. I really haven't posted anything in a while on there, but
you might have some mega fans out there that want to tap in.
You can tap in with me on YouTube. It's OHWIZE1 there too. OHWIZE1 across all social media. Okay.
Well, I have definitely enjoyed having you. You are indeed a fashionista.
Oh my goodness.
And you are. And, very talented and dope artist. Can't wait to hear more of your work. Can't wait to tap in with your book that is dropping on September 25th. And You all, make sure you stay tuned for more exclusive content like this. It is still National Poetry Month.
Yes, it is.
This has been the Mic Drop with B. Anderson, and we out. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like and comment on it, and subscribe to my channel for more exclusive content like this.